Grandma sees Waitress and whispers, "You look like my lost granddaughter." Then something. The lunch hour crowd had just begun to thin when a frail elderly woman named Marjorie stepped into the sunlit café with the slow, careful steps of someone who had learned to live with loneliness. The autumn lights spilled through the tall windows, illuminating the dust in soft beams that made the place look almost magical. But her eyes, tired and faded, only searched for a quiet corner where she could sit by herself. She had lived 79 years, and most days felt the same now, quiet, predictable, heavy with memories she could not change. But today, something unusual stirred inside her chest, a strange flutter she couldn't quite explain. It happened the moment she looked up and saw a young waitress walking between the tables carrying a tray of steaming plates. The girl had a calm face, a gentle walk, and a warmth in her expression that didn't come from training but seemed to pour from somewhere deep inside. And that was when Marjorie froze, her breath caught like a thread in her throat. Because the girl looked exactly, shockingly, heartbreakingly, like her granddaughter who had disappeared from her life almost 18 years ago. That if you're watching this and believe in second chances, kindness, and the power of unexpected miracles, then please take a moment to like, comment, share, and subscribe to Touch of Kindness Stories so these heartfelt stories can reach more souls who need them. Marjorie blinked, trying to steady herself, gripping her purse with trembling fingers. The resemblance was impossible, she thought. Her granddaughter, Amara, had been only 11 when family conflict, divorce battles, and misunderstandings tore the family apart. Marjorie had lost all contact with her son's side of the family after the separation, leaving her with only memories, photos she kept in a wooden box, letters she reread on lonely nights, and the fading recollection of a child's laughter. As the years passed, she had learned to live with that ache, placing it gently in the corner of her heart like a fragile ornament. But now, standing in a cafe she had never visited before, seeing this young woman felt like the universe was opening an old wound just to let light spill through again. The waitress, whose name tag read Selena, came toward her with an easy smile and guided her to a table near the window. She spoke with a softness that reminded Marjorie of bedtime stories and warm cocoa on winter nights, echoes of the past she could not ignore. As Selena walked away to get her water, Marjorie watched her intently, her heart drumming a rhythm she had not felt in years. There was something about the way Selena tucked a strand of hair behind her ear, the way she tilted her face when listening to customers, the way she carried herself with both humility and grace. It wasn't just resemblance. It was familiarity, like recognizing a song you heard long ago but still remember every note of. Selena was unaware of the storm she had stirred. For her, today was just another shift filled with low tips, aching feet, and the hope that maybe next month she would finally be able to save enough for her college tuition. Life had never been easy for her. She had grown up in foster homes, moving from place to place, carrying a duffel bag that held her entire world. She never knew her biological family, or even the full story of why she had ended up in the system. All she had was a faded bracelet with her childhood name engraved inside, and a deep longing to know where she truly belonged. Despite that, she worked hard, remained kind, and carried a gentle resilience that made people naturally drawn to her. Even when she didn't realize it, as Marjorie watched her, she felt a strange pull inside her chest, a mixture of fear and hope, like standing on the edge of a cliff unsure whether to step back or leap forward. She had been disappointed too many times in life, especially when hoping for things she could never have. But today, something stronger than fear pushed her. When Selena returned with her soup, the elderly woman reached for her hand. Her voice barely rose above a whisper, trembling with the weight of unspoken years. She softly said, "My dear, you look like my lost granddaughter." Selena froze. Her hand went cold as her eyes flickered with confusion. She didn't know how to respond. She had heard people tell her she looked like someone before, a neighbor, a distant cousin, a stranger's friend, but this felt different. Something about the elderly woman's voice, the raw emotion trembling inside her words, made Selena's chest tighten. She didn't pull her hand away, even though part of her thought she should. Instead, she gently squeezed Marjorie's fingers, offering comfort she didn't fully understand herself. Marjorie apologized at once, her cheeks flushing with embarrassment. She wasn't a woman who imposed her feelings on others. But today her heart had spoken before her mind could filter it. Selena, instead of being offended, gave her a soft smile and promised she wasn't bothered. Still, the moment lingered between them like a quiet secret neither of them understood yet. The rest of the lunch was filled with polite conversation, short questions, soft answers, gentle pauses. But beneath it all ran a deeper current neither woman could ignore. When Selena walked away again, Marjorie breathed deeply, steadying herself against the emotions rising inside. She couldn't let hope deceive her. She didn't even know if something like this was possible. But Selena's presence felt like déjà vu wrapped in destiny. She needed to understand the truth, not for closure, but because something in her heart whispered that this moment wasn't random. Sometimes, fate speaks in whispers before it becomes unmistakably loud. Hours passed after the lunch rush slowed, and the café became quieter. Selena began wiping tables, humming a tune she didn't realize was echoing memories of lullabies Marjorie once sang to her real granddaughter. The familiar sound made the elderly woman's eyes pool with tears she tried to hide behind her napkin. But Selena noticed. She walked back to her gently and asked if she was all right, her voice carrying the kind of sincerity that cannot be taught. In that moment, Marjorie felt something she had not felt in years: comfort, belonging, and an unexpected sense of being seen. She found herself opening up in ways she hadn't planned. She told Selena about the granddaughter she lost in childhood, how the family had been torn apart, and how she never forgave herself for not fighting harder to stay in her life. Every word carried years of pain, guilt, and longing. Selena listened quietly, not out of politeness, but because something inside her wanted to hear every word, as though the story awakened a feeling she had buried long ago. As the story unfolded, Selena felt a strange stirring in her chest. A memory, not clear, not full, just a flicker of a child's bracelet she once wore, a faint image of an older woman's arms, a warm kitchen, a gentle laugh. She had always dismissed those flashes as dreams, fragments her imagination made to fill the emptiness of not knowing her past. But now, listening to Marjorie, she felt something inside her shift. Her heart beat faster, her palms grew warm, and for a moment she felt like the little girl inside her was reaching out, whispering, "Listen, don't ignore this." When Selena stepped into the staff room for her break, she sat on the bench with her head resting in her hands. Every part of her felt tangled: confusion, hope, fear, longing, all swirling like a storm she didn't know how to calm. She reached into her small bag and pulled out the one object she had kept from childhood, the thin silver bracelet with the engraving AM inside. She stared at it, tracing the letters with her thumb. The initials had never meant anything before, but now they pulsed with possibility. Back in the cafe, Marjorie waited. She didn't expect anything, but her heart beat with a mixture of fear and hope. Sometimes life gives you signs, she thought. Sometimes it gives you second chances disguised as ordinary days. And sometimes it brings back people you loved in the form of unexpected miracles. When Selena returned, she held the bracelet in her hand. She swallowed, her voice trembling as she told Marjorie about her past, how she had grown up in the foster system, how she had no memory of her family before the age of 6, and how this bracelet was all she had left of her origins. When Marjorie took the bracelet in her wrinkled hand and turned it toward the light, her breath caught. Her eyes widened, because the bracelet wasn't unfamiliar. It was identical to the one she had given her granddaughter Amara on her 5th birthday, engraved with the same initials, in the same handwriting she had chosen. The realization hit her like a wave. Selena wasn't just a stranger who reminded her of someone. She was the someone. The past 18 years came flooding back: lost addresses, wrong phone numbers, letters that returned unopened, legal battles she had no control over. Tears poured down Marjorie's cheeks as she clutched the bracelet to her heart, and Selena watched in stunned silence, her world shifting under her feet. The truth came slowly, gently, like a sunrise lifting darkness. Selena didn't need DNA to feel the connection. She felt it in her chest, in her heartbeat, in the unexplainable familiarity of this woman's touch. And as she leaned in, letting Marjorie pull her close, the years of emptiness in both their lives cracked open and filled with warmth.